Hello everyone, welcome to Manage Engine's webinar on preparing your IT to meet the demands of the hybrid workforce. Before we proceed, here is a small introduction to Manage Engine for those of you who might not be aware of us. We are the IT management software division of Zoho Corporation. We craft quality solutions for IT management with a product lineup of 90 plus solutions and free tools for all your IT needs. Over 180,000 organizations around the world use our solutions and they make their lives easier. Now, here is a little something about Zoho Corporation. We have products for almost every business need, all the way from sales, marketing, productivity, collaboration, and so on, to manage your entire business with our solutions. Also, I'd like to let you know that this year is very special for us since we've crossed the 25-year mark and we're celebrating. Now, let's have a quick glance of what our solutions offer and how we can manage your IT with the help of them. So we offer Active Directory management, IT analytics, IT service management, endpoint and client management, and IT security management products. Today, we'll be discussing about the IT operation management suites for Manage Engine. Now, moving on to the main topic. So you know that hybrid workforce is here to stay, right? So right off the bat, we are going to be talking about the transformation of IT operations and how we've shifted gears and reprioritized in 2021. Then we're going to address the elephant in the room for those of you who aren't yet convinced that hybrid IT is going to be the new normal. Then we are going to move on to talk about the demands that this model has placed on your organizations and the challenges that you're most likely to face and how they can be addressed. Then we'll take a look at some of the technologies that many enterprises are adopting around the world to enable hybrid work capabilities. At the end of this presentation, we'll be having a look at our IT operations management solutions that can help you in your journey towards your hybrid IT operations. Let's get started. Well, what better way to get started than with some data, right? A survey by Forbes says that 97% of employees don't want to return to office full-time. This means only 3% of employees and entrepreneurs want to work full-time at a physical office. The remaining 97% prefer some degree of flexibility between working remotely and working in an office. For employers, this means that adopting a hybrid work model is going to be critical in hiring and retaining talent in the near future. A survey by McKinsey states that 9 out of 10 organizations will be combining remote and on-site working. Now let's take a look at what big guns like Gartner and IDC have to say about this. So Gartner presents to the idea of anywhere operations that revolves around adoption of newer technologies, increased visibility, and alignment of NetOps and SecOps. On the other hand, we have IDC with their branch of one model that focuses on ensuring connectivity, collaboration, and security of remote workers. It pushes for more of a centralized management, automation, and adoption of newer technologies to improve end-user experience. Now, some of you all might have a question. What is so different about these two models? And you're right. There is not much difference as the core of these two seemingly different models, but it is the idea that businesses should adopt a digital-first, remote-first strategy. In other words, remote employees who are not given the same priority as in-office workers need to be prioritized more. They no longer get second-class services moving forward. So in this remote-first, digital-first model, you put the technology in place of your employees, customers, and partners to conduct business with you from anywhere around the world. Now, a simple example for this would be that of a banking application. So nowadays, it's not necessary for you to go to the physical bank physically and do your processes, right? Everything can happen within the click of a button. Now, when it comes to branch of one, the challenge lies in the fact that it considers the individual person as a branch. Now, this kind of micro branches become troublesome for IT to support in many ways. Think about it. If I am at the office, the network or telecom managers can handle my internet connectivity to a T1 link that is shared by everyone in the office. My telecom comes through a PR1 line or over the WAN while we are on VoIP. Now that is shared capacity and connectivity. Now in a hybrid setup, what we discussed remains, and additionally, we have a remote worker on the road. He or she accesses a network from a broadband wireless card or airport Wi-Fi service. Now this person should log in to the VPN. The voice service should be a cellular phone or a soft phone client on his or her laptop. He or she might have a web client on the laptop to make international calls and multiple collaboration tools which consume a lot of VPN bandwidth. Now we need to optimize all of these connections to boost performance and improve connectivity. Now multiply this by 100 or even 1,000 times, and you see the complexity in providing this kind of support to remote employees, right? Well, this is exactly what happened during the onset of the pandemic, when employees were forced to work from home. Businesses scrambled to find ad hoc solutions to support remote workers at a massive scale. On top of this, the mindset with which these changes were made complicated things. Many IT admins made changes even without thinking about its long-term impact. In short, business implemented band-aid solutions to stop bleeding and cared less about treating the wound. Now, here is what happened. Due to these temporary fixes, almost 15% of employees reported issues every day. 25% of them reported issues once a week, and 55% of them reported issues multiple times a week. What's more, only 5% of employees reported issues less than once per month. Now that's a lot of issues to handle. At ManageEngine, we noticed that most of these issues were around connectivity, performance of collaboration tools, and unsatisfactory user experience. In addition, due to the number of employees working remotely, the attack surface for hackers or threat factors increased, emphasizing the fact they also needed a security tool. Now we are going to discuss the 4 areas that we've identified, and these are the areas that we believe IT leaders need to focus on while building an IT ops strategy for the hybrid workforce. Now it revolves around providing a LAN-like connectivity for your remote work employees, improving the performance of collaboration tools, meeting the expectations of your customers who are using your services online, and solving security challenges that arose due to rapid transformation. Now let us discuss all these 4 areas in detail. First one is LAN-like connectivity. The lockdown certainly pushed IT operations to evolve past the corporate or branch offices. Well, to be honest, most organizations had a small-scale VPN setup. But what changed was a massive volume of employees that suddenly had to work from home. Now, this put a lot of strain on the existing setup, and businesses had to rapidly scale their VPN infrastructure. In addition, this move caught the IT security teams off guard, as they had to bring in security measures to ensure private information was protected from hackers. Now, let me explain this problem with the help of an illustration. Here is Mike, who is a remote developer. Now, he is on a very tight deadline as he needs to deliver a project within the next 30 days. But unfortunately, he had to deal with laggy applications, poor work quality, and unreliable connection to corporate Office database and code repository. Now, this resulted in Mike missing out the deadline, and the company couldn't deliver the project on time as per the agreed SLAs. Now, in short, Mike experienced loss of productivity due to application performance, substandard customer service, resulting in poor end-user experience, and he also failed to meet service level agreements, resulting in monetary loss for his business. So we had a similar problem when employees in our organization was forced to work from home. Let's be frank, it's not just Mike here, but it is each and every one of us, right? We all found it very hard to do our day-to-day tasks. Initially, we had a lot of VPN disconnections. Now, being in a B2B SaaS business, some of our developers were unable to test their code as test machines were behind a corporate firewall. Now, the QA team had problems in testing our newly developed modules, and we were hard pressed to implement a quick fix like most organizations did. What we did and what some of your organizations can do, if not already done, is as follows. First and foremost, inspect IPs and the VPN bandwidth consumption. Now, we inspected the IP addresses that connected to our corporate VPN and their respective bandwidth consumption. If the consumption exceeded a certain threshold, we decided to limit or increase their bandwidth based on the usage patterns and which business function they belong to, such as sales, marketing, support, and so on. Now, in order to ensure security, we track the locations our VPN IPs landed on. We noticed that some of these landed on social media platforms and non-business related sites. So we decided to split the tunnel and route the business-related traffic to the corporate data center, while other applications had direct access to the internet. We also enabled two-factor authentication to maximize security. We also monitored the number of active VPN connections and the utilization during peak hours so as to allocate bandwidth optimally. In addition to all of this, we also monitored bandwidth trends over a period of time and set thresholds to identify sudden spikes in bandwidth consumption. Now, this could be a potential security incident, so we really wanted to keep tabs on it. Now, with all of this, this helped us make a right decision when it came to capacity planning and planning the future bandwidth requirements. Now, the second major area that we are going to discuss today is the increase in use of collaboration tools. A survey by Gartner reports that nearly 80% of workers are using collaboration tools for work in 2021. They noted an increase of 44% since the pandemic began. Now, it makes sense, right? When employees move out of office, they need tools to connect and get to work. While regular employees may see this as a way to boost productivity, it's a very big challenge for IT teams. Here is a short illustration. Meet Daniel. He's a senior support engineer who works for a corporate entity based out of Edinburgh. But when the pandemic was at full swing, he decided to move back to Birmingham, where he's originally from, along with his family. But he's finding it hard now to collaborate with his colleagues and clients with the help of his company's newly adopted collaboration tools. Now he has got a laggy voice call application, a meeting tool that constantly disconnects, his share screen is pixelated, and agitated customers are on his back. On top of that, he's also unable to communicate with his colleagues to ensure proper operations and retain productivity. Well, Daniel is not alone. His counterparts have to travel to the office, and some of them even have to face similar issues as the office bandwidth has been misallocated without any historical data. Let's admit it, most applications are bandwidth hogs. They're not developed with network in mind. But how can we address this problem? The primary issue is due to improper bandwidth allocation and increased VPN load. You need to ensure that there is sufficient bandwidth at workplace allocated for crucial business functions. But that's easier said than done, right? I mean, Daniel's organization had no idea or any historical data on bandwidth consumption by the newly adopted collaborative tools. Now, at Zoho, we did not have this issue since we already had a solid in-house developed collaboration tool that was implemented organization-wide to ensure proper communication. We did not have to scramble for solutions and pay big bucks to Slack or MS Teams. But our challenge was different. Our challenge was when everything went remote, we had to scale the VPN. Of course, but our support staff had to get the same experience while they were working from office. We simply couldn't afford to provide second-hand services to them, neither did we want our customers to suffer. Now, to give you a bit of background, Zoho is rapidly growing with over 15 corporate offices and 7 data centers around the world and over 10,000 employees working remotely. You understand the challenge here, right? We quickly went from just 5% of support staff working remotely to over 80%. So our immediate response was to remove all of our VoIP traffic to the cloud. And that was the best solution since we had considered distributing nature of a workforce. On top of that, we already had successfully implemented identity and access management systems in place to ensure security. That is another considerable investment in security that you might have to adopt, or you could adopt a zero trust solution. But this really worked in our favor as we could see the first response time and ticket resolution speed up. We also saw good improvement in end user ratings and the overall support performance improved. Additionally, to optimize the overall performance of a network, we monitor the traffic and block the unwanted incoming and outgoing traffic. We also predicted the bandwidth capacity needs so that we could scale up. So here are some tips on how you can avoid bandwidth and VoIP issues. First and foremost, focus on monitoring the bandwidth and traffic patterns at an interface level. This helps you know what is happening in your network at all times, and when you know that the product release is coming up or support team is notified of a high ticket inflow, you can optimize your bandwidth accordingly and manage capacity. You can also set up a means of communication so that teams can reach out to you with the expected rise in demand for remote sessions. Now, we also reconfigure our policies and use traffic shaping techniques to boost the quality of service. On top of that, we updated our access control list to help us reserve bandwidth for critical applications and prevent unnecessary traffic on network segment meant for support staff. We also have to ensure high level of data communication by blocking unnecessary bandwidth consumption on social sites. Now, here is something I'd like to point out to you. Now, we realized that YouTube videos were shared to our customers by support staff to aid troubleshooting. So we allocated separate endpoints in the support bay to get it done from office. For our remote employees, social traffic was directed to the internet with a split tunnel VPN. So we didn't have to worry about that. In addition to all of this, we also monitored bandwidth growth over a period of time. Now, this helped us scale operations and make informed decisions without any productivity loss. Now, in case you do not have any historical bandwidth consumption data, like Daniel's organization, provision bandwidth generously and reduce it once you have a week or a month's worth of data and usage stats. That will help you greatly. Now, let's move on to the third area. In the wake of the pandemic, organizations accelerated to the cloud and resorted to virtualization. But they were too narrow with siloed initiatives such as application hold, or I'm just going to move all my data to the cloud. Now, that was the problem. The problem was not enough design consideration was given as to how the organization will need to operate historically in the cloud, increasing the risk of disruption from the nimbler attackers. On top of that, they failed to develop and implement an operating model that is oriented around the hybrid cloud environment, and this causes service delivery to get impacted. Here is a scenario where a leading bank witnessed multiple online transactions. They witnessed multiple online transaction failures. Now, due to the growing needs of the customers who could not tolerate frequent application crashes and transaction failures, a private bank started deploying containers in their on-premise data center and moved some of its applications to the cloud. But this led to further complications as bank faced constant performance issues and could not pinpoint to the root cause of the problem due to the lack of visibility in its multi-site business environment. Now, this is something one of our customers in the BFSI sector, who prefers to be anonymous, stated. How did we solve this problem then? First, we monitored key metrics of Kubernetes containers. This included the cluster availability, node, and pod details. This helped track the health, availability, and performance of the entire hybrid infrastructure. Now, we also helped drill down into the application code level insights that gave them clear idea as to which part of their application code needs to be optimized to perform better. Additionally, we set thresholds based on usage metrics to instantly notify themselves in case of a performance bottleneck, as some of the Kubernetes instances were bare metal Kubernetes clusters and auto-scaling was really complex. They did eventually implement a bare metal automation platform, but monitoring really helped them prevent further issues as uptime was critical for them. Well, they also took interest in monitoring their end user digital experience as it gave them a competitive edge. This process involved understanding user journey, user interaction with their online services, and they optimized those touch points to ensure customer satisfaction and boost retention. Now let's move on to the fourth area, which is ensuring security in IT and business operations. We all know that using collaboration tools, VPN, and cloud services increase the risk of data breaches and expose companies' critical IT systems to threat factors. Some organizations also started following a BYOD approach, which opened the door to a new set of security issues. Now, with all these changes, it was important to identify potential risks by investing in security solutions before an attack is hurled at your network. That is why it is important that you transition to a hybrid workforce model as airtight without any security loopholes. Now, the first step towards this process is to identify the past changes that could have left your network infrastructure, applications, or services vulnerable to external threats. In other words, a quick audit will help you identify areas that need to be fortified with infrastructure changes, code level changes, firewall rules, access control lists, or even implementing new tech, and so on. Here is a scenario that illustrates how an overlooked firmware update caused denial of service for another enterprise customer of ours before they adopted our solution. The problem was that unauthenticated remote hackers caused network devices in the organization to reload, resulting in a denial of service DOS condition. This halted most of their services and the end users were affected. Now, it took them quite a bit of time to find out that the affected devices were running in a vulnerable firmware. So, how did they fix this? Well, Cisco announced that there were no workarounds for these, and customers using SXP connection peers should protect them with a password. But how could they have avoided this? Well, this could have been avoided by periodically fetching vulnerability data from global databases like NIST, VDB, and so on a regular basis, and implementing the fixes recommended by respective vendors. Additionally, they increase the frequency of scanning for the distributed network and apply patches to prevent this scenario. This is also why they became our customers in the first place. We offered a solution that alerts them with a criticality score when the vulnerabilities are found on monitored devices, and this helped them with the scanning and detailed audit reports. You can also adopt a monitoring solution as per your requirement. Here is another scenario. This one is for config change management. And that's another area where we frequently had security incidents. So let's meet John, who's an IT admin. He was having a hard time trying to track configuration changes made by remote workers. Moreover, John and his team are responsible for checking configurations since a lot of gateways were open in the past 1 month, and a faulty config change can lead to a security breach. So how can you tackle this challenge? Well, it is important that you assign permission to end users based on their roles within your organization. Role-based access control is highly recommended, simple and easy to manage, and less prone to error as opposed to individually assigning permissions. You can authenticate these users using local, Active Directory, or Redis authentication methods. In addition, you can also establish an approval system where the IT admin, in this case John, needs to approve the config change for it to go live. This can help reduce instances of faulty log config changes. You would have recently seen the Facebook outage, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp outage that happened yesterday, right? This was also because of a network configuration change. This was due to fault configuration management. Now, here is a simple change management flow that you can implement to avoid outages like this. First and foremost, you need to identify devices for which you want to track configuration changes. Set up change notification to get notified of any unauthorized changes. Identify any devices in your organizations with config violations when compared to your organization's policies and take remedial action to fix it. This will give you a clear idea of who changed what and when that change happened, and this will allow you to secure your configuration and compliance. Now let's have a quick summary of some of the actions you can take to ensure overall network security. First is you can monitor your VPN usage. For instance, if you notice a lot of failed connections from a single IP, you can take steps to identify if it's an external threat. Additionally, you can also monitor firewall logs and perform forensic log analysis periodically to prevent security issues from going under the radar. Secondly, adopt role-based access control to limit access to sensitive corporate data based on user rules. Third, use two-factor or multi-factor authentication method to access corporate network for your remote and office employees. Conduct regular audits to ensure security and compliance. Invest in zero trust network access solutions. Now, these services provide an alternative to IP-based access control, typically used with most VPN configurations. Organizations can implement location or device-specific access control policies that can help prevent unpatched or vulnerable devices from connecting to your corporate services. Now, this brings us to the next point, which is to scan your network regularly and apply relevant patches to prevent security issues. In addition, you can also monitor the list of rules, policies, and ACLs currently implemented and revise these periodically. Lastly, an optimized configuration and change management flow with approval notification is essential to track the who, what, and when of configuration changes. Now, here is a quick checklist you can adopt if you want to adopt to a hybrid workforce model. The first point of this checklist is to resolve any pending issues. So you should resolve any pending issues, anything that you might have overlooked during this transition period that could potentially impact your network security. Secondly, deploy new technologies that can support your move by reinforcing security and the underlying infrastructure that is required to support a massive work type call. Thirdly, invest in IT automation tools that will help you reduce the burden of your IT teams. Now, during this transition phase, that will require a lot of changes and implementations to be done. Fourth, never ever forget to audit your network regularly. You might be caught up with a lot of projects in the deployment, but it is always best to ensure the past implementations meet the current security standards and the compliance practices, and these audits will help you achieve these. Now, technology is a catalyst to hybrid work. Now, so let's take a quick look at some of the technologies you can adopt to ensure seamless transition. So what you see here is a chart by Gartner's Emerging Tech Roadmap for medium-sized enterprises that shows the deployment stage for recent technology developments in various key areas, such as network, IT automation, storage and database, compute infrastructure and platform services, security, and digital workplace. Now, here is what the report has to say. IT leaders have increased the adoption of emerging technologies as organizations begin to recover from pandemic by seeking innovative opportunities. Now, according to this report, 58% of respondents reported an increase or are planning to increase emerging technology investments by this year. Now, this is twice when compared to the percentage in 2019. In addition, they're also reporting faster deployment and implementation timelines, with technologies currently in deployment to reach adoption within the next 6 to 18 months. So let's talk about tech. There are 4 key areas that you can focus on to ensure that your organization always stays on top of evolving needs for hybrid workforce power in the enterprise. So these are the 4 technologies. The first one is infrastructure, cloud, security, and visibility. In infrastructure, enterprises are currently deploying SD-WAN fabrics to reduce dependency on legacy VPN technologies. Now, this comes with a host of benefits, such as improving your network performance by prioritizing business-critical traffic and real-time services like VoIP, and effectively steers it over most efficient route. You can also get additional benefits such as increased security, lower complexity, and reduced costs, with an added advantage of direct access to the cloud that eliminates the traffic backhaul. Now we have a real life experiment with this. We implemented SD-WAN at Zoho, as our organization adopted a policy known as transnational localism, with which we contribute to the development of rural areas by building a hub-spoke model of central and remote offices. Now, our main aim was to provide an office-like experience with minimal latency and the best end-user experience possible for our employees. And when considering our distributed nature, SD-WAN was really a good option. I mean, the number of remote offices in villages and towns across India that were needed to support our employees was huge. So we obviously turned to SD-WAN, which helped us launch remote offices quickly and hit the ground running without any traditional implementations that were expensive or non-flexible. In cloud, a lot of organizations were turning to AWS VPCs as they allow users to connect to the internet, a user corporate data center, and other users' VPCs. You can also route traffic from from one VPC to another VPC using private IP addresses, and they were also able to communicate as if they were in the same network. Well, some of our customers have deployed VPCs in the environment, and we help them monitor essential metrics such as bandwidth utilization and traffic. So it is very similar to having your own LAN on the cloud, and therefore it is very essential to monitor exactly what you would monitor on-premise and on cloud. This can help you troubleshoot network anomalies and security threats, which brings us to our next point, which is security. Now, this is very important when we wanted to ensure security while scaling up to meet the needs of our employees. Well, a zero trust network access helps us provide secure remote access to applications and services to employees without them having to connect to a VPN. We deployed an agent-based ZTNA with access controls based on the location, host name, user credentials, business functions such as sales, marketing, support, etc. In addition, we also moved some of our critical tools to manage and build the release process behind a zero trust parameter so as to ensure security. This helped us strengthen our security posture without passing on the hassle of logging into a VPN for our employees. Now, moving on to the 4th technology, which is visibility. So, adopting a hybrid IT monitoring solution can help you gain entire visibility into all of these technologies that we actually spoke about right now. The entire process of transitioning to a hybrid workforce model can be demanding, and the monitoring solutions can be very, very helpful to identify security threats, deploy new technologies without any service disruptions, and manage system updates periodically. Now, on that note, I'd like to introduce you to our ManageEngine IT operation management solutions. We have a 20 plus years of expertise, and we have 90 plus products in our kitty. 9 out of 10 Fortune 100 companies trust us to manage their IT. Now, here is an image representing our IT infrastructure and application stack. Our products revolve around providing 360-degree visibility into your routers, switches, load balancers, domain controllers, firewalls, physical and virtual servers, in addition to monitoring the applications that run in this infrastructure. You get in-depth visibility with insights into 2000 plus performance metrics and 150 plus applications with instant alerts when something goes wrong. Now, this is also done by leveraging AI-powered adaptive thresholds that reduces false alerts and alarm noise in addition to forecasting utilization and aiding capacity planning. Additionally, we also have solutions to deep dive into specific areas of your network that need special tools such as traffic and network bandwidth analysis that is important to ensure great experiences for employees and users around the world. We can also manage your configuration change and compliance to ensure industry standards and org-wide policies are not violated. You can also monitor your firewalls to ensure network security and performance log analysis to keep your network safe and manage your IP and switch ports. We also have Op Manager Plus, that is a fully packed solution that provides all of these functionalities from a single console to help ease IT management, reduce the time being wasted on scrambling between multiple solutions, and it will also help you identify the root causes of the issues. Now, I'll be uh, transferring the control over to my support engineer, Shrikant, who has 5+ years of experience in dealing with IT operation management solutions and helping people optimize their IT infrastructure better. So, off to you, Shrikant.
Thank you, Varsha. Hi, everyone. A very good morning, and I hope everyone had enjoyed the wonderful presentation done by Ms. Varsha. So what we will be looking from a technical point of view is that I'll be sharing my screen in a moment, and all those features and functionalities that was summarized by our in the presentation, I'll be just giving you a glimpse of more like a walkthrough around those products and their features. I'm going to share my screen now. Just let me know if you can see it, and from there we can get started. You can just give a confirmation in the chat, or you can just give a poll or a hand raise. That should be sufficient. I think I do get some confirmation. So let's get started. The user interface you're able to see on my screen at the moment is the Op Manager. So we are talking about the IT operations management, a part of solution from Manage Engine that will allow you to do the monitoring and management of the devices that you have on your infrastructure. When I say IT operations management solutions, it is consisting of a portfolio that will describe, or you can say, monitors different aspects of your network, and there are different products meeting different requirement of yours, starting with the base or our flagship product that is going to be the Op Manager, which will do the monitoring of basic health and performance of any device, starting with servers, switches, routers, firewalls, storage devices, urls. So practically anything that has an IP address on your network, we can get started with monitoring its health and performance using the Op Manager. That is our flagship one. Apart from Op Manager, in case if you want to extend your monitoring to further ahead, like in terms of interface analysis, then we have NetFlow traffic analysis that can be done in real time using different flow technology. I'll be showing you them in a while. And then we have config manager to take periodic config backups for your networking gears like switches, routers, monitor its config changes, who made those changes. Very much management oriented tool to monitor your device configs. And then we also have an IP management switch port management kit bundled under a tool called OpUtils that gives you more like a protection and inventory management to know who is connected where on your network. And apart from these three tools, we also have a specific tool that is designed for the firewall management. In case if you want to do some more advanced monitoring on your firewalls in order to get VPN users connected to your infrastructure or real-time traffic across your firewalls, that is also possible through the product called Firewall Analyzer. And last but not the least is our applications monitoring, which is more an extended version of the Op Manager's server capabilities. Here we will be talking about how in-depth Op Managers, or you can say ITOMs tool, can get into your application level monitoring, getting you the code level fixes, or if you would like to do database or cloud-based servers monitored, then Applications Manager can do that for you. So for now, I have explained about different products, close to 5 or 6 products by now, and you probably be wondering how exactly these all tools run, because there are so many competitors. You may find one running on one server, the other one application. You may need to manage all of them separately. But what Manage Engine makes the best out of here is that you can have everything combined under a single pane of glass. So when I say the user interface here, it's basically the Op Manager Plus, or you can have all these products separately if you want in that way, or if you want all of them to be used together, you can also integrate them on top of Op Manager. The user interface is for the Op Manager at the moment, but in order to access them, you can just simply hop into the network tab and switch between different modules, starting with the flow analysis, which is going to be your net flow. And then we have config management for your network configuration manager, followed by firewall syslog monitoring is available, and IP management. So we'll start with the Op Manager for now. Op Manager, like I said, it just gives you the health and performance monitoring part and can do any device for its capturing the health and performance. When I say health and performance, it can be device up, down status, CPU, memory, disk, or if you want to get workflows done to automate certain fixes. Say, for example, there is a server running out of disk space, and if you would like to generate an alarm, yes, any tool in the market can do it. But Op Manager has its unique way of troubleshooting by minimizing the user interference. You have certain capabilities like workflow that will allow you to fix issues like rebooting the server, looking for files with larger size and deleting them. So basically, you can create an automation task through which Op Manager can do some troubleshooting. Likewise, in terms of device supporting capabilities, our tool is compatible with over 10,000 plus different vendors in the market and their device models, and we are still growing. So any model that comes into the play, we will be adding them to avoid, or you can say to give you the best user experience through our products. And we also have different methods of informing you when you're monitoring the devices. Say in order to initiate the notification, because the main task of monitoring your devices is to manage the fault and failures. And in order to get proper notification, we do give you different choices through which you can enable the notifications in Op Manager. That initiates with sending an email, pushing text messages in an immediate way, or if you would like to integrate with various third-party vendors, we do have direct integration with Teams, and Slack chat integration is there. And also we can create tickets on different help desk solutions like Service Desk Plus from Manage Engine, ServiceNow, Jira, Service Desk Plus Cloud. Or if you want to do a webhook integration with any third-party tool that uses API-based integration, we have these methods to inform you and do the best possible notification methods. And if you're wondering, while I'm using Op Manager, I also might be using NetFlow, NCM, and I would like to just use more like a unified system here, because there has to be a point of integrating all these products. So Op Manager can have different ways, or you can say approach through which you can make this integration more useful in your real-time scenario. So creating a notification template that will allow you to comprise the notifications from different modules. That includes NetFlow and Analyzer, Network Configuration Manager, IP management, firewall management. And with that, Op Manager said, we have other method. We'll be getting into the add-ons, starting with the NetFlow. NetFlow usually uses the real-time traffic flow packets And in terms of compatibility, we are compatible with almost every single flows in the market, starting with S flows, J flows, different versions of S flows, IPFix. And through this, we should be able to give you a lot of reporting purposes that will cover the forensics, capacity planning, inventory reports, geolocation, and also billing for your ISPs. Then we have the NCM product that will do the job of taking configuration backup. And the main task of taking configuration backup is to know when anything that happens to change. Like Ms. Varsha explained that there was a scenario yesterday which caused a big problem for the entire social media network, starting with different products like Instagram or WhatsApp. So all that happened because of just one misconfiguration. And in order to avoid that, this tool could be just taken as an example where we have like complete automation where you would be able to know which user did changes. And if you want to revert the changes instantly, we have the options to push config changes right back to your device from the Op Manager's UI. Likewise, we have other tools like Oputils and Firewall. Oputils, like I mentioned, it comprises of mainly two aspects. One is IP management, the other one is switch port mapper. IP management will be covering the IP address scans and getting you the status of the devices connected on each IPs on your network. And we do have the following reports for them. Followed by we have the switch port mapper that is designated to monitor the port connections and the devices that are currently active. But out of which you will also be getting one complementary feature that will cover the protection of your network. So any intrusion, say for example, there is a spoofing of MAC address happening. In that case, you may want to know which are the devices that are currently using the same MAC address, or if there is two devices that's using the same IP address, you might want to know what IP spoofing looks like and where it is happening. So this tool comes with rogue device detection feature that will help you out in identifying newly connected devices and also avoid your network and protect it from intrusions. And we have the firewall analyzer, which will cover the monitoring of advanced metrics from your firewalls using the syslogs. And you probably will be able to get reports like VPN information, policies, rules applied to your firewalls. If you want to manage the rules, know which are the ones that are currently being used or which are the ones that are not being used. So very much advanced approach of monitoring or enhancing the performance of your current firewall through these products. It will definitely be able to do it because Op Manager will give you the basic health and performance like up down status, interface traffic utilization. But if you want to do something more than that, then Firewall Analyzer has your back and will be able to do those advanced stacks. And last but not the least is our applications manager, which I believe I might have to switch to a different tab because since this is an Op Manager setup, I may not be able to do it. But in order to access them, you can just visually see them here under this specific apps tab. That's where you access it. But in order to show you how exactly it looks like, I might have to jump into a different browser tab. So applications manager here is more like APN plugin that will do more application oriented monitoring. And also you can include database servers, cloud-based servers, Kubernetes. So all those different advanced server mechanisms or application oriented servers can be easily monitored through our application manager product. In terms of support, let me show you what kind of monitors do we support. These are all the metrics that we currently support under the APM product. Different version types of application servers, cloud-based servers, database servers, services. If you want to monitor any middleware or portals, yes, we do that using the application manager. And the best part about having all of them integrated is that you can have a very unified management dashboard. When you monitor or use all the products together, you probably want to get a unified view that will get you entire summary of what's happening on your network. So Op Manager excels in that, gives you different benefits of customizing what you need to see. If you want to merge dashboard widgets from different products together, you can do that. If you want to create a CCTV view, which more like a read access, you can put any favorite dashboard of yours or multiple dashboards into a big screen that comes with an auto refresh interval that will periodically update your dashboard widgets on a big screen. So thank you so much. This was more like an overview of what kind of products you can expect under the IT operations management. And if you want a detailed demo of any one of them or all of them together, please feel free to reach us anytime. We will be happy to provide you with a product demonstration. And if you're already an existing user, then obviously if you want to have more like a health check, or if you want have any issues, you can always feel free to reach our support and we can assist you. Thank you so much for your time, and I wish you all a happy day ahead. And over to you, Varsha.
So what we discussed in this presentation was to adopt a digital first, remote first strategy and put the technology in place so as to provide great experiences to your remote employees, partners, and customers. Then we saw how we can use collaboration tools effectively and how the newer technologies can help improve application delivery and enhance employee productivity. Next, we saw how focusing on security with periodic audits, configuration, and change management can help you ensure that you have less outages in your infrastructure. Next, we discussed how visibility into your IT infrastructure can help predict and troubleshoot issues across distributed environments on both on-prem and cloud services, and how we can stay ahead of pitfalls. Thank you for joining the webinar. I hope you have a nice day.